Beaver Nation, what's happening? Hey, it's head coach Mitch Canham back again, and I was so excited today. I threw on my uni. I'm feeling like game time. We brought in Drew Rasmussen, fellow Washingtonian, fellow Christian, fellow Beaver alum, was here from 2015 to 18. Also the only Beav to ever throw a perfect game, and he did it his freshman year here at Oregon State. And now 5 years and many more to come being in the show with the Brewers and now the Rays. Please welcome Drew Rasmussen.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to have a little chat.
Well, I'm excited to hear you, as we all are. And let's start with this one. Well, you've had a lot of physical obstacles throughout your career in college and professional baseball. And really, I think about everyone has tough times. So can maybe you tell us a little bit about how you've not only survived, but you've thrived through these kind of obstacles?
Yeah, well, I'm going to use the word fortunate, but it wasn't actually all that fortunate. My dad was very sick when I was young, and I was fortunate to get to watch how he went about his day in and day out when he was battling cancer, and God, by God's grace, he's still with us and doing well now. But I got to see him kind of go, through the ins and outs of cancer treatment and just kind of continue to work and try and provide for our family. And I had the ultimate role model. And then as I grew up, I just had so many great people in my corner, that, kept my eyes forward, and they kept me positive. And I mean, shoot, that's, high school coaches, college teammates, college coaches, and then into the professional realm as well. I've just been blessed to be surrounded by so many great people, that kind of always keep my eyes on the objective and kind of, they don't let me wander off too far. When times get tough, you can very easily start to drift mentally, probably mentally more so than physically. And that's what I would tell anyone about rehab, right? The mental side is significantly harder than the physical side. Most days are pretty scripted for you from a physical standpoint. But people don't typically give you the tools to cope mentally. And so, like I said, I had a great role model to look up to, and a lot of people that, kept me on the right path and just kind of helped me keep pushing forward. And as you start to progress in your rehab, throughout your rehab process, the good days come and they make, the bad days a little easier pill to swallow.
Golly, man, so great to be surrounded by wonderful people like that inspired you, and you got to learn from watching. And it's almost like watching you pitch. Like, how can such a nice guy throw the ball 100 miles an hour over and over with such ferocity? It's just wild, like the demeanor on the mound versus how joyful you are off the field. Hey, and this plays into it too as a Christian, as a man of faith, a husband who we were talking about before we jumped on here, where you met your wife here in college,
Yep.
And also as a father now of one. You got a ton on your plate. What advice do you have for all those people out there that, how to be present and how to be elite in your work and also in your life?
Yeah, well, I mean, quite literally, I just schedule my day. Actually, I guess I could pull it up right now. We got my phone right here. But it's down to basically the minute. I have a pretty good idea. Here, this is what my day looks like today. And you're asking, how do you be present? Like, I've got blocks broken down for everything I'm going to do from a professional standpoint, from mobility to catch play to working out to my running and conditioning for the day. I even schedule when I need to eat, because if I don't keep an eye on that, like, I'll go without eating for a little too long. But you said from the family side, and from even quite frankly from a faith perspective, I schedule in my devotional every single day. It's a part of my schedule. It's blocked in there. I know exactly when I'm going to do it. And just having, your 15, 30 minutes with God, whatever you can get in that day, I definitely think keeps you present. And it really helps you just kind of just stay focused on the task at hand, right? You just have a quick conversation with him, and he lets you see all the joy in life and all the good. And then on top of that, I schedule my family time too, right? When I'm going to be with my family, I can put my phone aside. I know I have nothing that's going to be more important than what I'm doing at that moment, most of the time. And it's just, one of those things where I just try and schedule everything out. And from an organizational standpoint, it's who I am. I like being organized. I like having a game plan going into a day and have one at the end of the day. And am I perfect sticking to my schedule? No, I'm not. Little variables pop up here and there. However, I think having kind of the structured, a structure to your day from start to finish is a good way to just kind of keep you on task. And like you said, man, faith plays into it 100%. I think starting your day off with just a little bit of quiet time and just really a chance to have just the opportunity to sit and think and pray and just, ask God, with what I'm going to go through today, I just ask that you guide me, and everything I do keeps my eyes on you. And I think from there, it really helps structure your day pretty quickly and pretty easily.
Man, I love to hear that. And that's why so just continually pouring into your schedule in the evening and prepping things out keeps you on task, as opposed to just going about it, whatever, and drifting down the road.
I've done it that way too. And let me tell you, I'm all over the place.
I get excited easy. I want to jump around and do a little bit of everything. All right. And lastly, I have a million things I want to go into, but hit us with one of your favorite Beaver stories, whether it's on the field or off the field, being on campus. Your time here at Oregon State, and incredible freshman year, and being a part of that 18 season as well. I assume first thought is being a part of that World Series and something that will forever be remembered here. But I bet there's a million stories. Hit us with one.
Well, yeah, as we kind of got into at the very beginning, I met my wife on campus. I met her day one. So just the opportunity to go through all 4 years together was a blessing. But my favorite, the first story that came to mind when you asked me was, it was 2017. And I think in 2017, we went on 2 separate winning streaks of 20 or more games. But we were playing in Surprise like we did at the time. We opened up with the first 2 weekends down here, our first 8 games. And after game 6 or 7, we lost it. We lost a bad one. And I love Case, man, but we lost a game we shouldn't have. And he was intense. He was a little fired up, and he came in and he laid into us a little bit and freaked out. And Max Engelbrecht actually got caught kind of laughing, snickering in the corner, and he didn't seem to appreciate that very much. And now when I talk to him about it, right coming out of that game, we started one of our 20-plus game winning streaks, and all he'll ever tell me now is it worked, didn't it? And so, him taking credit for firing us up a little bit one day and going on a big winning streak is something I'll never forget. It was looking back, in the moment, Dad is scolding you a little bit, but now looking back on it, it's a memory that'll stay with me. It made me laugh. Looking back on it makes me laugh, and just all the success that followed, and it was definitely something I'd never forget. And then, yeah, as you said, transitioning into 18, coming out of 17, man, we had a really good team. And I'd argue our 17 team's probably the best college baseball team to not win a national title. And, to come up just short was it was tough, but to see the amount of work that went into that 18 team and how those guys went out there, man, and they just competed every day, and the brotherhood that was created, from the 17 season and coming up just short and into the off season, the summer into fall, and the work ethic and the competitiveness that went into every single fall practice. And then watching guys, personally in college, the winter was toughest, right? You play games in the fall against each other, and then you take a break, and it's just working out, and practices kind of start to get, broken up, and you don't spend as much time with the position players as a pitcher. You just kind of go about your work, so you don't get to spend as much time with them. But man, when we came back for that spring in 18, man, those guys were locked in, and so to just be a part of that and a part of that group and just watch how they went about their business. I rehabbed the entire 18-year, man. I was just along for the ride and got to enjoy it as a fan and a friend, and then a part of the team. They kept me involved with everything, but I didn't throw a single pitch for that team. And man, when they won in 18, man, that was one of the greatest moments ever.
That's so cool. I tell you what. If someone hasn't seen you throw the baseball, they need to tune in and watch you do it. If they get a chance to hang around you, you're a real inspiration to all of us. Thank you for everything you've done for Beaver Nation and continuing to be a part of this family. And thank you for inspiring each and every day you go out there and live your life, brother. Drew Rasmussen, everybody. Go Beavs.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on. Go Beavs.